Hello and welcome! Back in 1997, we had a really great remake of The Absent-Minded Professor, and that's what we're going to talk about today, Flubber. Flubber was released in 1997. It stars the late great Robin Williams. Still, may he rest in peace. And this is one of these movies that I have such vivid memories from childhood. It came out, I was 5. And I remember actually being in the movie theater watching it. And towards the end of the movie theater, I just started having a major earache. And it just disrupted my viewing pleasure of being 5 years old. Enjoying this movie because I ended up getting sick while we're finishing up this movie. It's one of those random memories that you just have that has completely no relevance but the strangest relevance to this film. So there's my nostalgic tie into that. It's a lot more modern. It's definitely a lot more of a modern take from the original. I didn't realize that there was original. I didn't know this was a remake of a film until I started researching these films. So I will biasly think this one is better, but even rewatching it again, I still really do think that they improved on this and rebooted it really great and used the technology that we had to a superior level, and they did a fantastic job on this film. So Professor Bernard, who is played by Robin Williams, is the same crazy manic inventor that doesn't pay attention. But instead of having his dog sidekick, he has Weebo, who is played by Jodie Benson, who is Ariel. I never knew that until I started looking up the cast. She's fantastic.
May I see my schedule, please? After school, there's something. I know there is. What is it?
This is your complete schedule.
See.
And I really love Weebo. I love the addition of Weebo. I think it's really phenomenal that they added a robot sidekick to it because there's so much more interaction compared to the first one where he just talks to a dog and the dog can't talk back. So you just have Charlie.
China, I suppose you think these are just rubber balls, or maybe a flying rubber ball.
But here they have a really fun interaction with each other. I love the dialogue between them, the little sub-story that Weebo's actually jealous of his fiancée Sarah and doesn't want them to get married because she's in love with the professor and she's this robot. But it's really cool. I like the additions they made. It's basically the exact same story. So they have to try to save the college, and he discovers Flubber, and he tries to sell it to anywhere he can to help save the school. But he does put it into the flying car, and the flying car is a much more bigger invention compared to just Flubber, and he wants to sell it to a car company compared to the government in the original film. This time our sports star is Bennett, and he is played by Will Wheaton. I did not know this. I love Will Wheaton. I think he's amazing. I am more familiar about him today because of Big Bang Theory.
Oh, Shelton, do you really think we're gonna fight?
My fists are not up here because I'm milking a giant invisible cow. They're up to beat an apology out of you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And he was so cute back then. He's still cute now, but I thought it was really fun.
I have a science requirement, you morons!
Quiet. We'll have to get the F changed to an A.
Won't work. This guy, he doesn't live in the real world. He has principles.
Get something on him that we can use to force him to change the kid's grade.
He had a really fun role, but he is a straight up villain kid, whereas in the first movie, only the father is against Professor Bernard, whereas both Bennett and his father are against Professor Bernard. And with their story, it's a complete Home Alone scenario where they're trying to spy on his inventions and then they just get hurt. And then Flubber keeps on just kicking their butts.
Kinetic test number 1.
We also have Marcia Gay Harden, who is Sarah, Professor Bernard's love interest, and then Wilson is played by Christopher McDonald, and he is basically trying to steal Sarah away from Professor. So again, similar scenario, because in the first one we had that same concept happening. They're really true to the adaptation, and they just improve on the adaptation. I love Robin Williams so much, as we know, so obviously everything is hilarious to me, but both of the movies are really enjoyable. I just really do appreciate what they were able to do with this one. The technology did help a lot, that we're able to have a lot more fun with the robots, and I love the opening scene of this film. It just makes it a lot more fun. I love the inventions that they came up with, and honestly his one robot reminds me so much of Conky from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Ready to assist you, Pee-wee.
Morning, Conky.
What's today's secret word?
Don't you be quiet.
I want you, Pinky. Download some manners.
Plus the fact that Flubber is very interactive, whereas the original Flubber is just like a bunch of taffy with a bunch of other ingredients. This one is CGI, but it's alive and it has a lot of fun. It has its own dance scene. And all the music was made by Danny Elfman as well, and Danny Elfman is one of my favorite composers, so I really appreciate that too. The entire concepts of all these Flubber films are really fun, and they're really inventive and really original, but this one is still my favorite for all the reasons I just mentioned. I am always and forever a gigantic Robin Williams fan, so that's always going to be higher compared to everything else, but they're all enjoyable. So if you haven't seen it in a while, you should go check it out. And we're going to continue with The Parent Trap tomorrow, so you can stay tuned. And as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.